Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of March 10th, 2022. Getting straight into it, the current character challenge is Kahndaq Black Adam. That is a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Catwoman, who at their lowest tier, you can all get at bronze. Right. So it's way easier for newer players. You know, once you've got a couple golds under your belt, you can probably get this challenge. And right. you either have these or they're very cheap to acquire.
Right.
So his passive is the Thunder King, which is Black Adam's basic combo, and special attacks apply electrical damage over time, and if not blocked, drains opponent's power. He's got 1,100 attack and 1,200 health. He was last available on the 13th of May, 2021.
Right. Yeah. He's got decent stats. He's not sort of top tier stats, but as a point of comparison, last week was Killer Frost. They both have the same health, 1,200, but Black Adam has 1,100 attack instead of 800.
Yeah.
And I think we're still sort of big fans of Black Adam because he's fast, and we've got a little bit of sort of a nostalgia associated with him because he was our first gold on our first account.
Mm-hmm.
Because we picked him up in a gold pack. Because he was the most common gold pack at that point in the booster.
Yeah, and you know, despite being sort of the lower end of the stats, he was still solid. He still played well.
No, that's Regime, not Kahndaq. Because Kahndaq is upper kind of stats.
Yeah.
And so you look at his passive, and it sounds really good, right? Damage over time for the basic combo, but it's not actually the basic combo. It's for the combo ender. If you get the combo ender, you get it, and with specials. And draining opponent's power is actually almost as good as it sounds. But the problem is with the damage over time, it doesn't do enough.
Yeah.
Of what it's supposed to. So he falls into that group of golds that have passives that don't amount to much. And so you need to use these characters for reasons other than their passives.
Yeah.
And Black Adam has that. Kahndaq Black Adam has that, right?
Yeah.
Because we like him, because we've got the nostalgia, and he's fast. All the Black Adams are fast. So as a basic damage dealer, he's not bad. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's like the Flash skins, where he's in a lot of ways just more responsive. Yeah. And one thing I've been trying to do, which our viewers would have seen, is to, when I have a chance, to play with each challenge character as a way to sort of freshen them up and maybe do more with them practically than what I just remember about them.
Yeah, right? Either remind yourself what they're good for, or maybe even recognize something that you didn't before when you maybe missed out on them the first time.
So I've got footage. Maybe we'll use it for next week, but I want to make sure we come back with a Q&A next week. So the interesting thing that I've noticed playing around with him the second time is that his special 2... All right, so we knew it had multiple hits, but the biggest damage is the last hit. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because what I've been trying to do is use Quake Engine on him in an attempt to increase the amount of damage over time that you get from his specials, right? To really sort of lean into that part of his passive to see if I can get more out of it. The unexpected effect has been that it boosts the special damage enough with that 50% boost on the point that doesn't have a bar of power, that what we're doing is we're knocking everybody out on the last hit, and we're not triggering any damage over time. Which is not awful, but not what we expected. And if he didn't have so much of his damage back-end loaded, if it was front-loaded, there's a chance you could knock somebody out, do less damage on the next person coming in, but then still do a whole lot of damage over time.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I've noticed, that even though his special 2 damage is listed as being more than twice as much as the max special 1 damage, in practice, it feels like a special 1 does more damage because a lot of times a special 1 will knock them out. And I think that might be a function of the fact that we don't see most of the tail end of special 2 damage triggering. That it's the amount we get from it is just so big that it wouldn't have taken that much to knock them out anyways.
Yeah.
So I think the real biggest trouble with him, because we know his stats are good, we know he moves fast, his specials are interesting, is that he doesn't have any special synergy with any other characters. So, you know, he'll benefit from any character that gives anybody help, like Green Lantern, Raging Green Lantern. Power gen boost, everybody gets it. So he's fine with that, but he doesn't offer anything special on top.
It's true.
And that's what makes them hard to want to play with them. But maybe we'll see some more footage come out.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of the challenge cycle itself, we've had 2 complete runs of that 43-week challenge cycle that first appeared in May of 2020. This is the 94th week. So we're in our sort of 3rd run through. And we're on the 8th week in that 3rd cycle. If the pattern holds next week, we expect to see Suicide Squad Deadshot. And just the reminder, as always, a little bit bittersweet, is 23 challenge characters missing in that 43-week cycle.
Right.
This week's multiplayer reward is Alien Artifact, which becomes a mother box, and its abilities are a 28% max health increase, a 30% chance to blink against Special 2, and the evolved ability, which is a 100% power drain chance at the start of the match. It was last available on the 5th of August 2021. It's the 62nd week in a row of a complete cycle of the rewards. It is the last reward in a complete run of multiplayer rewards, and it is 31 of that repeat.
Right, 31st week.
Cycle, yeah.
So next week is going to be a brand new cycle, the 3rd time, and it should start with Cassandra Came Back Girl if it's going to go properly.
Yeah, so there we go.
Yeah. And, there's some legendary gears that aren't really that great, some 4.5-star gears that don't really deserve to be there, and I think part of it is that it's not great, but part of it is our bias. I think this is not one of the great legendary gears. So max health is good. The amount of it is good compared to some other gears, but, I'd rather have something offensive. The chance to blink is a more interesting defensive passive, but it became obsolete, I think, once the Tantu Totem was released. Because, nothing happens.
Yeah, with the Tantu Totem, this would actually be a much better ability if it was like a 30% chance to block 90% damage or something.
Right.
You actually want it to deal at least a tiny bit to you.
Yeah. If anything, I think if let's say you're fighting against Wonder Woman, New 52 Wonder Woman, then facing Mother Box and having this passive trigger hurts the team that has Mother Box.
Yeah.
Because she's going to be powering up her teammates even more.
Mm-hmm.
Power Drain can be a bit useful, only because it works against the first slot opponent, no matter who's holding the Mother Box. So you could have your 3rd person. You don't have to be facing them at the beginning, and it'll just drain their power. And it can be effective, but it doesn't really hurt us because I think most of our team loadouts having power on our front end guy is not the most important. I think most teams are like that because with Tantu Totem, it's going to be tagging in.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's just not that practically valuable.
Yeah.
And it's another one of those abilities that comes up so rarely that even when it does, I mean, I have a very hard time imagining that there's a fight that you would have lost if it weren't for this ability. Yeah. And it's hard to feel like this ability is even making stuff faster when it does happen.
Right. So, opportunity cost, 9 slots on your team. It's hard to give up one of those 9 slots for this gear.
Yeah, especially because you always plan to not need it. You should, if you need this ability for your team to work, then you're going to lose most of the time.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, moving on to the store. Our first... Oh, sorry.
Our pack is Kahndaq Black Adam pack.
Yeah.
$25. It's a nice change from last week. Last week's Killer Frost pack, I think, didn't have any credits. This week it's the same price, but at least it has some credits. Still not worth it, though, because he's probably going to be next week's challenge. Oh, sorry. Not Kahndaq Black Adam. What am I saying? Suicide Squad Deadshot, sorry.
Yeah, I had the wrong thing here, too, so I was trying to rack my brain a little bit. Next up in the store, we have the Character Bundle Lantern Elite on its 2nd week. That is $24.99. It's been around a couple times recently. Most recently in September of 2021, but it's also been around in April of 2021 and then December of 2020. So we've seen it, a couple times in the last 2 years or so.
So what's interesting though is this week is the Arkham Asylum pack, and I just noticed something now.
We didn't say what's in the Character Bundle Lantern Elite.
The
yellow lantern.
Yeah. Oh, we went over
red
last
lantern
week.
Hal Jordan.
Sorry, I figured we went over last week.
That's true. Okay.
So the Arkham Asylum pack 1 is $24.99. It's the version that comes with Arkham Origins Batman, Arkham Origins Deathstroke, and Arkham Knight Harley Quinn. It's Arkham Knight Batman on the outside of the pack, but you don't get him. You don't have a chance at him. You only get those 3 characters. all the description is old. The newer, more powerful Harley Quinn is talking about way back when she was buffed, but it's been years since that happened. Mm-hmm. To me, the most interesting thing is there's also an Arkham Asylum pack too, and it has exactly the same thing as this pack. The difference was, in Canadian dollars, it was $53 instead of
$24.99.
And it's the same characters.
Yeah.
So we've seen this a bunch of times, once last year and 3 times in 2020, and they were, except for the one time it was called Arkham Asylum Pack 2. Mm-hmm. It was, in the $20 range.
And one time it was just ridiculously expensive for
right, so
no
it's double
reason.
the price, yeah. So now that I've noticed it, the better pack is the Arkham pack, which was just most recently available in January of this year, which was $24.99, so cheaper than the Arkham Asylum 2 pack, about the same price as this. But that other pack is so much better because you get a chance at a bunch of different Arkham characters, including Arkham Knight Batman.
Yeah. So there we go. We have the Survivor pack that's been around for 9 weeks now. The Character Bundle Batman Universe one for 14. The Most Wanted pack is 21 weeks deep. And then the Celebration packs are 9 weeks in for everybody except for Joker, who's only been here for 7 weeks. 9 weeks in for just Aquaman, and then 7 weeks for Joker and Shazam. I mixed up the order.
Right.
Aquaman's been around a little bit longer. I said it, and then I realized that doesn't make sense. We're a little bit...
He's the guest that doesn't want to leave. He's overstayed his welcome a bit.
Yeah, so we're all celebrating for him. And then in our Survivor, we have the League of Assassins gear set until the 23rd of March, 2022.
Yeah. Phantom Zone is finished. Fight 62 is still broken. Last weekend's breakthrough was, as expected, Sinestro, Green Arrow, and Scorpion. And this coming weekend's is probably going to be Joker, Nightwing, and Darkseid. Link in the description to a Reddit thread that goes over the complete cycle from Devlin16, one of the moderators on the Injustice subreddit.
Yeah. And in terms of glitches, top right corner or the playlist tab to find our glitch playlist if you want to look at the in-depth stuff. But because this is not the first week of the month, if you want to hear our sort of amble about the glitches, nothing's changed this week. You can go ahead and check out our video for the 3rd of March 2022 if you want the details on that. But you can see what works, and nothing's new for anybody who doesn't want that sort of description.
Yeah, and the key is that the current Kahndaq Black Adam challenge, we confirmed that it works. The challenge reset.
So there we go. And to finish up, we'd like to give a huge thanks to all the lovely folks who support us on Patreon. That is BomboBen, Consul Peasant, and Edwoon at the top tier Last Word, Sinemac and Mohammed Albshaiti at the Your Message Here tier, Shawn, Farrell, Daniel, Simonson, Aaron Maule, Michael DeVries, Brandon C., Irvin Ruiz, and Eddydoo on the credited level, and Chris Wolff, Scarlet, Dani, Awesomegamer 241, Pavu RS, Gavin, Mallott, and Isfar E. at the gratitude level. Thanks so much for your support, and we'll see you next time.
Komoda.